Good morning. A lot of us have all had our vacation plans really change this summer. Marcia and I were supposed to be leading a group of 80 people from St. Luke's to Italy, Italy of all places. We were going to go to Rome, trace the history of the church, go to Florence and Venice, go up to the Passion Play in Oberammergau. Passion Play had been going on since back in the 1600s. They did it to celebrate the fact they'd been saved from the Black Plague. They do it every 10 years. This year it had to be canceled because of a pandemic. No, so many of us have all had to have our plans changed because of our vacations, because of all the plague that's going on. But it was interesting. Marcia and I got to talking about vacations, and we got to reminiscing and thinking back. This is over 10 years ago now. We had the opportunity to sail from Annapolis to Bermuda on a 46-foot sailboat. There was just three of us, Marcia, me, and a man named Captain David. It was quite an interesting experience in and of itself, making that sail. But once we got to Bermuda, it was a wonderful place, and we were going to be there for a couple of weeks, and we were anxious to explore. But what we discovered was fascinating. What we discovered was that in Bermuda, every family can only have one car. Michael Bloomberg has a lovely home there. He has one car. Doesn't matter how rich you are, it's all you get as a family. And there are no rental cars. They want to hold the traffic down. It's a small island, a lot of people. So family gets one car, no rental cars. You want to get around the island? Ferry, bus, walk, or motorcycle. And so over the next 2 weeks, we did all four things so we could get out and see the island. But one day we said, let's rent a motorcycle so we can truly head on out and go a little further on our own. I was a little anxious. I hadn't driven a motorcycle in years. But we went, we rented one, we were up for it, we were ready for the game. We climbed on and we headed off. But I found as we were driving along, if we were going straight, I was okay. But when we started turning, man, I felt that we weren't quite in control. Whenever we were trying to go around a circle, I did not feel in control. Now, the crazy thing is they drive on the wrong side of the road. So in spite of all that we were struggling with, I told Marcia, if you sense I'm doing something wrong, you speak up. I'm not usually into backseat drivers, but when you're over there in a motorcycle in those kinds of places, I was all for any kind of help I could get. We've been going a couple hours, and I have to admit, I felt worn out. We were going to decide to stop for lunch. And so as we were pulling in to turn into the restaurant, I leaned back over my shoulder to look and check for traffic. And when I did, I realized that though I was leaning this way, Marcia was leaning this way. That's not good. We got in and stopped and went in for lunch. And while we were sitting there, I said, so dear, whenever we're driving along and we start to turn and I start to lean, what do? She said, well, I lean the other way. You're about to tump this thing over. I'm trying to keep it straight up. And I said, oh, that's not good. Whenever we're driving along, we need to lean together. We got to lean together into the turns. We're not going to tump over. That's what gives us stability. We got through with lunch. We went back out, climbed on that motorcycle. We put on our helmets, and Marcia just kind of plastered herself to me. She wrapped her arms around me, and as we went riding, now when we leaned in to turn the corner to go around the circle, we did it together, and it was amazing. Driving was so much easier. It was like slicing through butter. It was great. We were under control. It was so much easier and so much fun. I got to thinking, whenever you lean into the problems together, you always feel more under control. Right now, there are so many issues we're all confronting, whether it's the COVID virus and all the things that go with that, or whether it's going to wind up being economically or politically or struggles within the church. And if we could just learn to lean into the issues together, I bet we'd find the rides a lot better. It doesn't mean we'd have to agree on everything, But if our fundamental value was, we're going to love the Lord your God with your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and we will love our neighbors as ourselves. If our fundamental value is to love your neighbor, no exception, I bet we could lean into the challenges we face and find we're a lot more in control. I hope you go out today and have a good ride.